Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we have a bunch of results over the past 2 weekends, lots of events in the JP side, and obviously Springfest held in Georgia, so lots of results and actually quite a few interesting deck lists to go through. So lots of good news and here to cover it. If you guys need any coaching, my Metafy link is in the bottom right hand corner. Feel free to book a session and we can get started. If you guys haven't already, click that subscribe button for all notifications on this channel. So starting off with Springfest Georgia, I know that Springfest Myanmar just finished, so I don't think we have the results in yet, but when we do, I'll cover it on this channel. So looking at standard, so this is actually pretty interesting. A lot of the teams, well actually all of the teams brought Shirui, well nearly all the teams brought Shirui, but there was one odd team that pretty much defied everything like metagame related, logic, whatever, and brought 3 favorite picks. So just gonna go through that. So first place taken was Messiah, Shirui, and Luard. Pretty normal, maybe not the Messiah. Second place substituted the Messiah for Greedon, so Greedon, Shirui, and Luard. The third place team, where it got a little bit wacky, was Bastion Accord, Jeva, and Kyrie. And then fourth place was Leonon, Shamu, and Shirui. So there's actually one deck that I do want to kind of look at, and that is the Jeva list. So I think this event allowed for the Cindy promo. So this promo here, this promo actually makes Jeva really strong. It essentially gets you pretty much all of your pieces to cross overdress and just buffs the consistency of this deck like entirely. Obviously Jeva got another 4 cards because of the 50 card deck. And essentially you're substituting those 4 cards for pretty much Cindy and maybe like, I don't know, like one other card of whatever kind you want. But Cindy is really strong because it allows you to essentially set up easier with less cards in hand. So previously Jeva didn't have a way to kind of set up, especially if everything gets blown up or dies. There's no way to kind of recover that, and Cindy essentially does that, right? So yeah, very strong promo for a deck that really needed it, actually probably a set or 2 sets ago, or 3 sets ago. But now, you know, Cindy brings it up to formidable enough to bring it to a regional event. So that's Jeva, but otherwise, like, you know, everything else is kind of the same, nothing too crazy. You're running a bunch of like, you know, prayer dragons and stuff to essentially cross overdress, but nothing super out of the ordinary, other than obviously the talking point on Cindy. So then jumping to tri-regulation. So first place was An Shunui and Delita Messiah. So I think this was Crow and Ali's team, so congratulations to them. Second place was Gurguit, Shunui, and Gridora. Third place, is this third place the exact same third place as the previous day? Cats ate the pizza rolls, pizza rolls ate the cats. Yes, I'm pretty sure it's the same players, right? So playing Gurguit, Kyrie, and a Grandgallop. My god, we haven't seen, actually I haven't seen that card in ages. So definitely looking at the list afterwards. And then fourth place was Hamske again, Shunui, and Neonectar. So Hamske getting a few tops recently in the US. Yeah, really interesting to kind of see this pop up multiple times. I wonder if it's the same player. But anyways, looking at that deck list, oh actually the Hamske deck list first. So this is very similar to the one that we saw before. You play 1 Gorilla, you play Hammy. This card really makes the deck strong. You know, you're essentially getting pseudo restands based on what you put to the bottom, and then the Gorilla to essentially restand everything. So multiple excels, multiple units on the board, and essentially restanding with Culture Gorilla. Yeah, actually makes this deck a pretty formidable, like super aggro deck. Gurgut is like kind of like a time bomb at the moment, so if you can't really beat Gurgut in the allotted time that you get given in terms of turns, then it just blows you out of the water and you can't really do anything anyways. So Hamske, super aggro, just face the wall, just bash, and yeah, just go fully ham, right? Then looking at Har Ali's Delita Messiah list, so you're obviously running the old Messiah to essentially get the double force on the Judgment Messiah. Furthermore from that, you're pretty much capitalizing on Cosmic Dawn when you re-ride your Delita Grade 3 to essentially activate Given restands your Vanguard. And the best thing about this deck is that you can essentially find multiple givens because you have reliable searches, as in, you know, you're checking top X to be able to get given, right? But I'm actually pretty surprised because I don't see Awakening Messiah. Awakening Messiah allows you to restand the given, but maybe because in a meta where like there's a lot of disruption, well, not really, but like in a field of Grand Blue actually blows up the given, which makes it really, really annoying. So yeah, like only playing 3 given because it's not a crucial card. You can still play normal Link Joker with Alter Ego Messiah and obviously your Volko. Volko is still a really strong rear guard. You know, you're playing 4 of the grade 1 triple R to essentially call the Volko out, have a really strong aggressive early game, and then essentially topping it off with Messiah. And if your opponent doesn't have disruption to get rid of you given, well, guess what? You win. And the best thing is you can protect it with Bracing Angel Ladder. So you pop a Bracing Angel Ladder, your opponent can't kill you given, you're having like 3 or 4 Vanguard attacks, which is actually pretty unfair. So yeah, very cool list. Yeah, trust Heart Ali to be able to create Delita Messiah and actually win with it. So, you know, like I've said multiple times in my previous videos, you put this in the hands of someone who, you know, specializes in the clan and the deck, and, you know, you see results. So congratulations to you, my man. Very, very cool. Then the second deck we want to look at is the Grandgallop deck. So this one's actually pretty interesting. A few things that I don't see in this deck. So the first thing I don't see is the Hell Tiger grade 3 that we get from the Springfest shop challenge. We don't see that here. So you're playing 4 Grandgallop and then 4 Daisaurus. So Grandgallop essentially, you know, you're striding into X lead, or what's this? X Rogue? X Rogue, right? Yeah, X Rogue to essentially get double force. Then you're opting to go into Unibird, go into X Gallop or whatever. If you're going second, then obviously Geomaglass. You're only running 2 Geomaglass, so I'm not too sure on this whether the space matters. Maybe the space does matter. Maybe I would cut like a Unibird for like another, you know, Geomaglass. Maybe drop an X Gallop for a Geomaglass. I don't know, but maybe like 3 Geomaglass is like pretty okay. 4, I think it might be a little bit extensive, but I guess you're not running restanders, so you're not actually running any rearguard reliant stuff. But I guess it makes sense because you're a Vanguard centric deck primarily, right? And in a meta where like Grand Blue is pretty big, you don't really want to kill your rearguards. And if Grand Blue can somehow hard guard your 50 kajillion million power, then, you know, they're a good player, right? Otherwise, you know, Laurel double powers, you play the old Laurel to restand. It's actually a pretty interesting deck. Like, Grandgallop was definitely not on my radar for a very, very long time and still isn't. So the fact that this got a result kind of piques some interests. I think in a team setting, this deck is, you know, viable because you can play riskier picks with the reliability on your teammates, right? Because you essentially need 2 of your teammates to win. So if your teammates are like, you know, 10-0, 10-0, and you're playing as like, I don't know, 1-9, then cool. But obviously this is not the case. But I'm just saying, like, you know, you can play more riskier picks in teams and, you know, get a sick top like this. So, you know, Grandgallop, very cool. So big kudos to Heart Ali and obviously this player as well. Bringing 2 very cool picks for premium. You know, this is the world of premium. You can do whatever you kind of want, really. So yeah, very cool. Now jumping to the other side of the world, we're going to China. So BCL season for Chengdu kind of consisted of nearly one of everything other than Eva. So 2 Evas, and Mygo, Bastion, Blangmire, Varga, Leonorn, and Zorga. Then the top 4 was taken by Leonorn, second was Rizal, third was Zorga Nadia, and 4th is Eva. Funnily enough, I played against Leonorn on the weekend, nearly got destroyed. He second turn OT'd, third turn OT'd, healed down from 4 to 2, had a 14 card hand, and I nearly lost had he found 1 more PG, which was, yeah, actually pretty crazy. So funnily enough, this deck is actually really hard to deal with, especially if you don't draw into your PGs early, because Leonore actually just hits like a truck, right? With a restanding Vanguard as well, it just makes it really, really hard for you to kind of cope against this deck. So yeah, very cool to see Leonore come first. Then jumping to another part of the world, so WGP Deluxe Season 2 in Thailand. So this is the top 16 breakdown. So 3 Prisons, 3 Leonore, 3 Shirui, 2 Varga, 2 Luard, and then 1 of Eva, Blankmai, and Rezel. Lots of returners, and I guess you can kind of see the trends from, you know, Chengdu. So a lot of these decks, or maybe other than the Bastion, are reoccurrences in this pie chart as well. But really weird to see 3 Prison. So I'm wondering if like the new Triple R actually makes Prison that, you know, super crazy. So I guess looking at the top 4, so we have Varga coming in first place, second was Prison, third was Eva, and fourth is Leonore. So Prison, 3 decks in representation and coming second place. Very, very cool to see. And Varga, I think Varga's just quicker. Varga is quicker, which makes Prison really hard, especially on the transitioning turn from grade 3 to grade 4. So you have that window to kind of play super aggressively and then, yeah, you know, beat Prison in the finals, it seems. So very cool to see. Then jumping to another event in Japan, which is the Sakura Championship series. This one is similar to like a VGCS. So this pie chart kind of says it all, and I think this is a good wake-up call for the West. Going into the future, obviously. So 6 Shirui, 4 Blankmai, 3 WELSTRA, 2 Leonore, and pretty much one of everything else. The big wake-up call is Shirui, right? So everyone is saying that Shirui is dead because, you know, the ride line without having Shouju Doji, the choice restriction between Drag Vader and Oboro, and it still shows results, right? So obviously this deck got hit in 2 ways, which is probably more ways than nearly every other deck in history. And Shirui is still showing results, right? So going forward, I still think Shirui is a very high meta pick, and especially going into regional events, you will expect to see Shiruis as you go. And you know, it's not like this deck is like completely fallen off, because there's actually no, I guess, pseudo direct counters to this. Ladder stops a turn, but I think there are many things in Shirui that allows it to kind of cope over that one turn where it gets nullified, and then essentially go forward from there. So yeah, very cool. And then the last event we have is the Chio Cup, which is WGP in Kyoto. So a lot of the teams brought WELSTRA, which is pretty interesting because I didn't feel WELSTRA is great until I saw it win locals this weekend, and I didn't realize how much it drew. So draws lots, plays super aggro. Yeah, it just burns your opponent, especially if you're going first. You play, like, you put in a lot of aggro and then you just melt your opponent's hand, and then they don't really have a way to effectively set up as well as kind of go through your next turn or two. And being able to just draw gradually, using Freyite with the grade 2 order, allowing to draw. You have a lot of other things to draw as well. It just makes the deck really, really strong, right? 6 Shirui, again, Shirui, high representation, 4 Luard, 4 Varga, 3 Zorga, 3 Eva, 2 and 1s of everything else. So again, Shirui, a deck that we see very often, and this infographic says it all. So the first team brought Luard, WELSTRA, and Shirui. Second was Luard, Tamayura, and WELSTRA. So WELSTRA pretty well represented. Third was Quince, WELSTRA, and Shirui, and then fourth was Messiah, Luard, and Shirui. So a lot of WELSTRA, and yeah, Shirui is Shirui, right? So on that topic, Shirui is a deck that will kind of stay in the metagame for a while. This deck opted to run the new Night Elemental, if I gotta say, or like Dark Elemental, essentially the new OT, right? Which is essentially activates as a conditionless heal, and essentially allows you to, I think it's like draw 1, call 1 plus 10. So it's weird to kind of see this card in Shirui. Obviously, you won't be playing the Light Elemental because that essentially nukes field, but whatever. But this card, you know, if you check it on like Triple Drive, healing down 1 is just as impactful as essentially restanding a Vanguard and getting 3 drive checks again, right? Because, well, it's not as impactful, but it's like half impactful for what Shirui essentially lost, right? Because essentially 1 attack in that later part of the game is pretty much equivalent to 3 cards anyways. So because you're healing down, you actually might be able to save like an extra card of guarding, right? Which might just win you the game, yeah? This deck also runs the Youthquake Regalis piece. I think moving away from Bracing Angel Ladder because the meta doesn't call for it, and especially in teams, Bracing Angel Ladder only really matters against Shirui. But yeah, like I think everyone, you know, playing Divines, set 1, set 2, there's just a plethora of decks that you kind of need to worry about. So I think playing something that utilizes your energy is very welcome in this particular deck, right? No other Regalis piece really matters other than maybe like the draw 2. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Playing 4 of the Stealth PG, which is a little bit weird, I think. You don't have like direct searches, so I'm not too sure like whether you're running new or old Elementaria might benefit better. But yeah, pretty interesting to see only flat 4 Stealth PGs. But pretty much everything else, you play the Cycler, which is good. You play the Grade 3 Dragon, which is good. There are decks that play the new, whatchamacallit? The Dark States and the Dual Nation Dark States Dragon Empire card to be able to call cards from your soul out. And this deck doesn't run Shenri anymore. So yeah, very interesting way to approach Shirui. And you know, it works. So very cool. Then the last deck we're going to look at is the Tamayura. Tamayura hasn't really changed except this card. This new PR is actually ridiculous. Essentially on place, rearguard, energy blast 3, check top 7 for a grade 2 or lower glitter unit and call it out. And essentially it's security upgrader. Oh no, not security upgrader. The one for Eva where you like search for this Tamayura and then rewrite it, right? So yeah, very weird to kind of see Tamayura in this setting. I think the deck I feel is very fair in comparison to a lot of the other decks, but you know, you're able to essentially search out a bunch of stuff super early, play a little bit more aggro in the early game, especially with this grade 1, and you know, energy blasting is like super free for you because you don't really care about anything, right? So yeah, very interesting deck, and that is pretty much it for the results for these past 2 weeks. This weekend is BSF Malaysia and I will be there, so if you guys are around, if you guys want to come say hi, feel free to come say hi. Would love a talk and kind of meet the community over there. So hopefully I see you guys at BSF Malaysia, and hopefully, you know, fingers crossed, we'll see some interesting results for next weekend. I think next weekend is also London, I think, or yeah, I think London or France, one of the two, right? So lots of results to cover next week. But yeah, that's pretty much it. If you guys like this video, pop a like, comment down below what you guys think of all the results over the past 2 weekends. If you guys haven't already, click that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.